Good evening, everybody, and welcome to SERANI SEMBANG, our episode number 8. It's been 2 months since I started this webcast, and some of you who have been following it probably might be seeing how with every passing week, we kind of like improve a little bit. So my lighting's now improved. I don't look as drabby as before, I guess, and I hope. But anyway, it's important that my guests all look better than I do. And today I have just one guest. We're going to kind of like pare it down to very intimate chit chat between me and other SERANI folk. And for this particular evening, 2-month anniversary of SERANI Sembang, I have with me a dear friend and a fellow SERANI who has had some very interesting chit chats with me in recent times on Facebook about being SERANI. So I thought I'd have him over and we could talk a little bit about how he feels about being SERANI and what he's been doing with his life. And of course, usually we also look at family connections and how we might be connected in various ways. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your hands together for Nigel SKELCHY. Hi, Nigel.
Hey, Vernon. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm very good, thank you.
Thank you for having me on.
Here. Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure and my honor. I mean, like, you know, how long have we known each other? Since school days, I think, right?
LaSalle PJ, man.
Yes,
oh
yes. Yeah.
Actually, you're a year younger than I am. So because I was actually in your brother's class, Kenneth's class.
Okay, I got to break this to you. Nigel. If you were in Kenny's class, I'm 4 years older than you.
But you look so much younger. How's that for a second?
And I behave younger. I think it's because I behave younger. And anyway, Kenny does look older than me, but that's because he's got.
I didn't mean to
he does. Yeah, I will dare to say that. Because he's very distinguished looking. I look like a punk compared to him. You know.
That's hilarious.
And this is live, you know. These revelations come on live. That's why it's called. That's why it's
You're
called
4 years older. Wow! Wait, this year your big birthday.
No, next year. Next year, my big birthday.
Okay,
Yes.
3 years.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, well, okay. We won't go anywhere there. But it's okay. I mean, like, Kenny's got 7 children. You know, I'm still a swinging bachelor, so I can afford to look younger, I guess.
Catholic.
Yes. A good Catholic SERANI boy.
Hilarious. Good luck.
Yeah, this is hilarious. This is great. That's why I like it live, because even last week when I was interviewing Russell Curtis, I found, do you know Russell Curtis, the musician? I found out his uncle is Paul Ponudure. You know his uncle is Paul Ponudure? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Well, yeah. So when I was watching his music clip, and by the way, it's on YouTube if anybody wants to watch that interview, right? He talks about it being he talks about being inspired by his uncle. And he says that, so I said, who's your uncle? And he goes, Paul Ponudure. I went, wow. You know, when I was watching his music clip, it actually paid a homage to Paul Ponudure. And I wanted to thank him, you know, for making Paul Ponudure one of those people in the homage, not realizing that actually it was damn intentional, you know, because he was, So it was kind of like a great revelation. So now this revelation about you going, okay, never mind. Let's get into the swing of things.
Okay, big bro.
Yeah, call me uncle.
Uncle. Okay.
It's okay. I have a one brother who's even younger than 1 year younger than Kenny. And at Gavin's wedding, Gavin's in-laws asked me if I was on school holidays. So yeah. Make what you will of that. Yeah.
Okay, you are entitled to gloat.
Well, it's kind of like funny, but sometimes I wonder whether it's because I guess it's because I'm smaller than them. They're all big, and you know, and I'm really small and I don't know, puny.
Kenneth
and
wasn't that big in school. I don't remember Kenneth being that big in school. But
Well, today they are.
Cool.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to start by saying that we're here because it's Serani Sembang, and we Sembang when we have a casual chit chat about this and that, right?
Thank
you. So welcome. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Yeah.
I've never. This is what I do not excel at. Anyway, so I guess that I'm an entrepreneur. I sort of like do my own business. Right now, it's Nigel's Joys, but I was also involved with my business partner Alan in Just Heavenly, baker and cafe, which is in KL. Alan and I also used to perform in an a cappella group called the Wicked Pitchers. So we were around, 13 years ago now. And I guess I identify as sort of like a chef, a baker. But more than that, I think my mission in life has been to make people happy. So, yeah.
Okay, well, wonderful. So how did you wind your way into becoming a baker?
To me, it was the sort of like the story that, you're looking for yourself. So how did I wind my way? Well, I finished college in hospitality management. And then after that, I came home. I was working in hotels for a while. Then I did hospitality consulting, after which I did a stint with a smart card software company because that was all the rage in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Smart card software company.
Yeah.
So software for a smart card.
Like tech that goes into like your touch and go and all that.
Yeah.
So touch and go was in its infancy in those days.
Yeah.
And we were trying to sell software to them.
This would be what, the 80s? The 80s?
No, the late 90s. The late 90s.
Late 90s. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Late 90s. Then after that, I met Alan and I saw what a talent he was, and I had some corporate experience, obviously. So I brought that to the table. He brought the talent and the pretty. So we started Just Heavenly, and the rest, as they say, is history. And now I branched out into making YouTube videos, as well as I'm going to be starting my cooking classes quite soon.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely.
So that's where I'm at.
Okay, that's where you're at. So you're going to, because you've already got a YouTube channel, and it's called Nigel's Joys, right? I'm gonna bring that up. Bring that up to show people, so we won't. So this is Nigel's Joys, which is the YouTube channel. So people, if you're watching, you can go there and we can actually watch you do videos about simple. I don't know how simple. Well, to me, in the early days, I saw you do stuff like making a cake. So it's already, you've already got stuff.
Oh yeah, there's about 10 videos up there. So basically why I started this channel was because I felt I had a story and experience to share. Part of it was the cooking, but really the other part of it is, especially during these times when things are tough, when things are not that great, it's so easy to get stuck in your own head, and think how awful things are. They're challenging, for sure. Times are challenging. But one thing I've learned along the way is that joy is actually, joy is worked at. You really have to sit down and remember what you're grateful for, what you have, and what you can do, and do it, And so I started this, and it's really brought me a lot of joy.
You're sharing. You're sharing what you love, and when you love, when that comes true, people really get it, I guess.
And then more than that, I think I want to expand that into sort of mindfulness teachings, thinking about your own happiness, as it impacts your own well-being. So watch this space.
Okay, very good. So that's why it's called Nigel's Joys.
That's why it's Nigel's choice. It's not just Nigel shows you how to make a cake.
Yeah. It's a lot more than that. It's a lot more than just the cake and the cooking. It's all about an attitude to life, and that's wonderful, because sometimes we really need to kind of figure out how to negotiate our way through a very confusing world, isn't it?
Yeah. And each episode has a thought of the day. So basically, it's sort of I found that quotes do help me get through certain times, you know, and especially if I resonate with it, and I find ways to live it.
Okay, and so therefore you're kind of like moving into the area of personal development,
personal growth development.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Which kind of like the path of what Oprah Winfrey kind of like, you know, made her way into.
Well, Oprah, I'm not worthy. If you're watching this, Oprah, I'm not worthy.
Oprah, get Nigel on your channel now. Okay, let's go back into your. Okay, let's go into the details about your family, because I like to do this because Serani Sembang started out as an ancestral site, well, basically a site where Serani families could share information about their Serani histories and ancestries. And because of that, a lot of people felt they had found, you know, long lost cousins, you know. So that is why every guest who comes on are given this first slide where their name is there, Nigel Skelechi. I've spelled everything right, correct? Yeah.
Absolutely. And, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. And the names underneath it are the names that you are related to in some form or other.
Some form or other. Some in-law, mostly in-laws, but Williams and Gunting are definitely related to us.
Blood links, yeah.
Yeah, the Scullys and the Especamans are more like we married into those families.
Okay. So you'd have cousins, blood cousins actually, who are Scullys and Especamans. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah, because you know, obviously, I'm related to their spouses.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. And tell us about this picture.
Which one is it coming up? Oh God! Okay, that's my great-grandfather Tertullian and my great-grandmother Matilda, I think. You see, my great-grandfather came up from Malacca,
and he was a Skelchi.
He was a Skelchi, Tertullian Skelchi. He was, being the good Catholic family we are. Good Catholic family we are. He was named after an early church father, or one of the earliest church fathers on record, I think.
Right.
Great grandfather.
Fathers.
Yeah, so he's a saint, Saint Tertullian. I mean, not him, but
Tertullian, who he was named after. Okay.
Yes. Tertullian was a saint.
Right.
If you Google them, you'll know what it is. But he was quite prominent in the early church. His nickname was Grandpa Tete.
Tete.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, it's very
cute families and the nicknames. Don't ask me.
Yeah. Absolutely right. I mean, my dad was called Joe Boy. You know, everybody called him Joe Boy. You know, kind of stuff. And my older brother was called Bo. You know, my older brother was. I don't know the story behind how my older brother's home name was Bobo. Yeah, but that's what happens, I guess, in Serani homes.
Yeah, that happens.
I know. I think it was given by my maternal grandfather to him. You know, and simply as a playful way of a term of endearment. Yeah, and this would be that was a great grandfather and grandmother, and this is your grandfather and grandmother.
My grandfather and grandmother. Yeah. So, great-grandfather came up from Malacca, and he actually came up from Malacca in a bullock cart. Took him 4 days.
Ooh,
and
wow.
He was,
okay.
Yeah, he was working with the sanitation board, which eventually became DBKL.
Okay.
So DBKL was born out of sewage, basically.
Right. Okay, never mind. I won't comment.
Yeah, let's not get into the politics of it now.
DBKL, for worldwide.
quite left.
Yeah, DBKL. DBKL for our international viewers is the basically the Kuala Lumpur City Hall. And as you know, Nigel and I, I were taking the Mickey out of them. Okay.
Yes. So
okay.
that's
So
this is my grandfather and my grandmother. Now, my grandfather was, as they called it, he was a civil servant. So he rose up quite high, and he actually, as some of my granduncles were as well, was awarded the MBE by Queen Elizabeth. So we've got that here in the house.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was also a businessman.
Okay, so this gentleman, his name being?
Cyprian Ambrose Dominic Skelchy.
Wow, you remember the whole damn. Yeah. Okay, Cyprian.
Yeah, the only reason is because how can you forget these names? Cyprian was an early church father. I think Ambrose was also a saint, and so was Dominic. So
okay, named after the saints.
Difficult to forget, lah. Difficult to forget.
And you said that he came up to KL in a bullock cart.
No, my great-grandfather. My grandfather was born in KL. So my great-grandfather had 13 kids.
Okay, and this gentleman was one of them.
Yes, and this gentleman was Cyprian. My grandfather, was I think number 5.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And next to him is of course his wife, and her name is
Addie Evelyn Skelchy.
Okay.
Addie as in Addie, Evelyn Skelchy. So Nee Williams. She was born a Williams. Her father actually, I think, came from Gaul.
Okay.
In Ceylon.
Okay.
Yeah, Gaul in Ceylon. And he married a Penang Nyonya lady by the surname of, I think, Fu or Kok. One or the other, I can't remember. But we're related to the Fus and the Koks in Penang as well somehow. In any case, I never knew my great-grandfather on either side. But her mum actually looked after my dad. In other words, my great-grandmother on my grandmother's side looked after my dad, and she died with the name Florence Bridget Williams. So and she didn't speak a word of English. She only spoke Hokkien and BM. So Malay, yeah. But she died with a total Anglo name.
Yeah, but that's what happened, isn't it? Because my paternal grandmother, my father's mother, was Dolores Chin. Okay. Dolores Chin. She spoke to my father in Malay. So my father's mother tongue really was Malay.
Yeah,
and
that's how
they were
my dad knows
Serani as they came. Yeah.
And that's how my dad knows Malay.
And the thing about it is that this grandmother of mine, right? She has a Chinese name, Dolores Chin. I don't know what her Chinese name, her real, her traditional Chinese name is.
Yeah.
She's known as Dolores Chin. Father was Chin.
Yeah.
But her mother was a Virginie Jacobs. So she actually was already half Serani. So she's not full Chinese. So her mother is Virginie Jacob, right? And then you think to yourself, Dolores could have only learned Malay from her mother. So Virginie Jacob spoke Malay perhaps to Dolores, because Dolores's Bibles,
so
the Serani people were actually
spoke just Malay.
Yeah, so I mean, like when I came up with the Serani Sembang, a lot of people of our ilk, right? Seranis, Eurasians, and all the ilk. The question to me was, why are you saying Serani? Why are you using a Malay word, for your channel and for your website? And I said, well, it's an identity label, so Serani is almost like a proper noun. It's like Hakka.
Yeah.
Is Hakka a Chinese word?
It is.
Is Hakka a Chinese word? No, Hakka is not a Chinese word.
No, Hakka is, I think, a translation.
An identity label.
It is an identity label, but it's transliterated from the Chinese. Yes. Hakka. Yeah. It's Hakka. In Cantonese, it's Hakka. Basically, Hakka means guest family. guest family, guest people.
Yeah.
They were guests.
So they because apparently they were traveling Chinese people.
Nomadic.
People from nomadic. So that's why they were referred to as Hakka, and eventually became their own label. So like a lot of people, I say Serani is not a Malay word because it is an identity label, and even though it is a Malay, so what if it is a Malay word? Then I'm told, but that's not our mother tongue. And then I go, but my dad's mom spoke to him in Malay, so it's his mother tongue, and she's half Serani,
I think to a certain extent, I think all this is very cultural. My great grandmother spoke to dad in Malay because obviously he didn't understand Hokkien. So spoke to him in Malay, but it was straight Malay. Not that really matters. It was a form of Malay, recognizably so. And I mean, we are Malaysians, so I guess Malay should be our mother tongue. Although really, my first language, the one I think and dream in, is English. But it is still it should still be my national tongue. Yes.
Yes.
So I don't see the issue with it. I really don't see.
I mean, in any case, I mean, I just want to point it out. I mean, I don't want to make it an issue, but it seems to be an issue, and I'm very happy to kind of point out the fact that what did we speak before the British came? So the love letters between Francis Light and Martina Roselles, the Serani lady who helped him acquire the island of Penang, were in Jawi Melayu. So therefore you can say that, so that you can say the traditional language of the Serani people, of this mixed race Eurasian people, Eurasian people, the mixed race Eurasian people, the mother tongue was actually Malay, until the British came, and then
I really would be surprised. I mean, at the end of the day, that was the lingua franca of the archipelago. I mean, all the way from here down to the Moluccas Islands and Indonesia and all that. So, all the trade and all that, the fisher folk would have spoken Malay. I can't imagine that they would have spoken English until the British came.
Anyway, So I don't know how we got around to that, but that's one of my, I guess, issues about.
So what they're saying is we shouldn't be called Serani, but why? I mean, we are Serani. That's what we call ourselves.
Well, I guess it's because over the generations, I mean, there were a lot of other mixed race people, a result of various kind of Europeans coming into this part of the world. So some of them may not share that same history. So I always say that Serani is a subset of Eurasians.
That's true.
And
if you think of it that way, it's true.
Yeah. And I would like to say that Serani means Southeast Asians with European ancestry, and that's about it, And
because I don't know how much. I don't know how much. Have you ever done that DNA test? I would be really curious to see.
I have.
I don't think you have. I have. What was your percentage of European?
None.
Yeah, I think I would be the same. I think most of mine is Chinese.
No. Well, the thing is, we've been in this part of the world for 500 years.
Yeah.
So any kind of European genes in our system would have been diluted beyond almost nothingness when you think about it. If it's 3 generations per century, let's say 3 or 4 generations per century. If it's 500 years, just think about that. That's 20 generations down the line.
Yeah.
So if 3 generations is already 1/8, then you kind of knock it back another 3. Then what does it become? You know what I'm saying? So anyway,
diluted.
Yeah. So anyway, in the DNA test, and I will be very open about it. The closest that I come, to Europe is actually North Africa.
Oh wow!
Okay, so and what's really interesting is that, of course, if I am going to claim Portuguese ancestry, and this is kind of questionable at this point in time because the name Emong could be anything, could be Burmese, could be a corruption of even Dutch.
I was going to ask you actually.
Yeah. It could be a corruption of Burmese. It could be a corruption of Thai. It could be a corruption of anything, Burmese, even Portuguese, because there are a lot of our Serani surnames that are corruptions. Like, I think Gunting in recent times has been pointed out to be another Dutch surname, if I'm not mistaken.
It is a Dutch surname. I think it
but it's a
probably ended with a K.
Yeah.
That's what I remember reading somewhere, Goentik. And then I think it got corrupted into the Anglo form, which is now Gunting. With the end of the NG, but I think it was a Dutch surname. It's not a Portuguese surname at the end of the day.
Yes.
My surname is not Portuguese Eurasian, but
Skelchy. Yeah. What is it then? What do you think?
I have no idea. It sounds more Celtic, some form of Celtic to me, which would lead me to believe it's actually some form of corrupted Dutch surname.
Right. Okay.
But I remember Dad mentioning something of Eskelcha or something like that. But at the end of the day, we were accepted by the Portuguese Eurasian community. We are accepted as Portuguese Eurasians from Malacca since the 1790s. So whether or not that was through marrying into the community or whatever, our baptismal certificates go back that far. We don't go back further than that. But
well, I can only trace my because both my mom and dad are Serani from the same Serani community in Penang, but they met and married in KL.
Right.
Okay. So I was born in KL. But what I want to say is that I have got various European surnames on both sides of the family. So like on my father's side, I've got Césaire, which is French. And on my mother's side, I've got Woodfield, which is French.
Yes,
so French has occurred twice. Yeah. And of course, there are other surnames as well. Like my mother's maiden name is Area, and on my father, and then it's Gregory and whatever. Yeah. But
Alan's cousin is marrying an Area.
David really?
Area. Yeah, David Area.
Okay.
But I mean, areas are not that common. Not that common a surname. Yeah.
Right.
But so for me, I don't know. I'm Portuguese Eurasian because that's how I identify. That's how my father identifies. That's how my grandfather identified. That's how my great-grandfather identified. I think that's far back enough for me to, I guess, rationalize that justification. I think I'm quite Portuguese Eurasian in how we live, although I really grew up more Chinese because of my mother's influence. But
okay, so that's this is your grandparents, just to
they got married in the 20s, I think. This must have been
1920s. I love that. I love that headdress that your grandmother is wearing. I mean, like, it's so
isn't
like
it gorgeous?
The roaring 20s kind of. Yeah,
I know. And then I think that was fresh Stephanotis.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and and this is Muscle Man. I think a lot of Serani men were into bodybuilding, because my dad was.
The chest expander thing, So I remember Grandpa giving me his old set. It was like this set of like springs which you pulled like an accordion.
Right. Yeah.
So obviously resistance bands of the day. So that's in the living room.
In my day, it was called the bull worker. I don't know whether you remember that.
Yes, I do. Worker. That one you press. That one you press.
Yeah,
right?
Press.
Yeah.
You can also pull. You pull or press, lah.
You pull.
But I mean, like, but these kinds of things, this kind of physical activity was pretty common among Serani young men, Serani youth.
Very.
Okay, so then he builds up. So he built up his muscles, and he found himself a gal.
He found himself a gal. He had 3 kids, of which my dad, in the middle of this picture, was the eldest. And then there was Uncle Lionel, but I never knew Uncle Lionel because he passed away as a toddler of pneumonia, I think. In those days, they couldn't cure pneumonia. So it was very, very touch and go. It was very killer. So Uncle Lionel died when he was like maybe 1 or 2 years old. And then after that was Uncle Francis. So they had 3 they had 3 boys in the family, and one passed away. And so there was Dad, Uncle Lionel, and Uncle Francis. And this is my mom as well. And the best man was my mom's eldest brother, Uncle Steve. I just used to call him by his Chinese title, which was Kao Fu.
Okay. So did you speak Chinese at home with your mom?
Yes, I did. Cantonese.
Okay.
I'm fluent in Cantonese.
So you can actually be Chinese passing.
I pass as Chinese.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. You pass as Chinese, so you can infiltrate pockets of Chinese communities and get the best bargains.
Supposedly, MCA's constitution allows people like me to join it. The Chinese
and so
Party in Malaysia.
Yep. Please go in there and reform it.
No, thank you. No. Not my circus, not my monkeys.
Okay. This is your mom and dad?
No, this is grandpa and grandma.
Oh, okay. And where are they?
I think this must have been the 50s. They decided after grandpa retired to do a world tour. So they took 6 months. Yeah, I know, right? Wow, they took beautiful. 6 months. They rented houses in certain areas of Europe, ended up in the UK, of course, because as with all good Seranis, everything British was wonderful. And this, I think, though, is St. Mark's Square.
Okay. Yeah. And so this was the grandfather who was in the City Hall. Is that correct?
No.
Grandfather. No. He was.
My great-grandfather was in City Hall.
Okay. So what did this?
This was my grandfather who was in the civil service and then the businessman. He made quite a good living.
Right. What did he do? What was he in the civil service?
My grandfather was. I can't remember which department, but he was in the civil service. He rose quite high, but where he made his money was in what do you call that? In being a contractor. So he built. You know Changkat Raja Chulan?
Yes.
Ceylon Hill?
Yes.
All those terrace houses, which are now restaurants.
Yep.
So he and his partners built those terrace houses.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. This was back in the day. But so my grandfather had a few of those houses, but during the war, to support the family, he sold them off one by one. So he never really cashed in big.
Right. But, he didn't become,
Yeah, he didn't. Unfortunate, one of those things. But he sold each and every one. He managed to support his family, managed to get one of my uncles out of jail because my uncle was jailed for having a radio during the Japanese.
Okay, during the war. Wow.
So he managed to he actually, used that money, the proceeds, to be able to free my uncle. And so after they retired, they decided to do a world tour. And this was one of the pictures.
And there was the picture. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And this would be did you say the 60s?
50s. Late 50s.
Wow.
Late 50s. Yeah. So
they were traveling in propeller aeroplanes all the way to Europe?
No, I think on ships.
Oh, ship. Wow.
Yeah.
All the way to Europe. Would have taken them like how long?
Yeah, weeks.
But what a cruise that would be, right?
Weeks,
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably almost maybe a month or 2 months.
Maybe a month. Yeah. So that's why they planned one for 6 months. So they stayed in London for a while. I can't remember where now.
Yeah.
But a couple of months in London. And my dad and my Uncle Francis were both in London at the time. So they basically cruised around with them. They went.
Okay. Your dad was in London and he was studying?
Yeah, both were studying. My uncle was studying engineering, and my dad studied chartered accountancy.
Okay, cool. And this is
Grandpa and Grandma again, along the Serpentine in Hyde Park.
So that's Grandpa and Grandma after their, let's say, 2-month cruise to Europe.
Yeah,
and
so they stayed.
Do you know where this is?
This is on the Serpentine in Hyde Park.
Right.
Yeah, I've been to Hyde Park, London.
Oh, ages ago.
So Hyde Park is, for those who've never been, is this huge, it's sort of like the Central Park of London, if you think of Central Park in New York. And it's gorgeous. And it's got this beautiful river running through it called the Serpentine. And it's part of the Thames network, actually. And unfortunately, what you don't see are the swans. The swans are there. And sort of fun fact, the swans are all owned by the Queen.
Okay.
Yeah, so they don't actually belong to the city at all. They're all personally owned by the Queen. So if she wanted to slaughter a swan and have a roast swan, which was quite fashionable in, I think, medieval times, she could. Although I think Petter would have something to say about that. But yeah, there are. She could roast.
Okay, lovely. Lovely. Okay, next slide. Now I love this picture. This is such an epic Serani family picture. I mean, like, look at that. It's beautiful.
Actually
it's not family
side. It's not the Serani side. It's like Chinese.
Okay, it's your mother's Chinese side. Okay.
Yeah, but
they learned how to pose like Serani's lab. Bring it on, big time.
Totally. And then you see all. I don't even know who the Caucasian people are. The Asians are mostly my mom's family and her friends. I suspect that the Caucasians on the left-hand side of the picture were my mom's boss. She used to work with the PWD, the Public Works Department. Oh, sorry, not the Public Works Department. She used to work with the NEB, the National Electricity Board, which became, I think, Jabatan Tenaga Negara, and then eventually became Tenaga Nasional.
Right.
Yeah. So,
and which one is your mother? Is she the one in the? Is she this one?
Right in the center.
Oh, this one.
Yes,
middle, this one?
That one.
Yeah.
The first
with the glasses.
One you pointed to. No, the first one you pointed to.
Yeah, this one. Yeah. The first, this one. That's your mom.
Wait. Hey, no, that's Auntie Tian. The other one, the second one.
This one. No.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Okay. And are you here? Are you one of these kids here?
No. I wasn't born yet.
Oh, okay.
So
you weren't born yet.
These are my older cousins. These are from, I think this must have been the late. This must have been the mid 50s.
Mid 50s.
Yeah, because if you look, some of my cousins who were born, I would think mid 50s, because my one of my girl cousins who's in the front, standing in the front, she must be about 6 or 7 years old, and she was born in 48.
6 or 7. So one of these girls here.
Yeah,
so the one that I'm showing.
Yeah. Mid 50s.
Right.
And that's the famous comet behind.
Okay.
Yeah, and this
the famous
area
comet
that they're taking it on is the tarmac of the Sungai Besi Airport.
Wow. Okay, the Sungai Besi Airport.
Yeah, that was our first international airport.
Right. Yeah, before Subang.
Just before Subang. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Amazing picture. I love it. I mean, like it shows all the different kind of like styles of dressing, and wonderful. A lot of character going on there. Love it.
A lot of character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and this is.
So 4 years ago, my dad got remarried. My mom passed away in 2008.
Right.
And he was always rather self-sufficient. So when he announced that he was getting married again, I practically fell through the floor.
Okay.
But this is him and his new wife, my stepmother.
Right.
Yeah, and I couldn't be happier for both of them.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful indeed. Yeah, and this is a picture that he sends. Obviously, a couple in love, quite sweet.
Yeah. So this was just Heavenly, our cafe. And this is Dad and my stepmom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Dad's 86.
What is it?
Dad's 86. Ma Michelle is in her mid to late 60s. She's a dentist. She's a dentist by profession.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very happy for your dad. He's found love, and
I know, right?
It's good. And it's just heavenly that they were in just now.
That's
so
correct.
this is the business that you founded with Alan, correct?
Correct. Yeah, back in 2000.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. You mentioned that you recognize he was talented, and you thought, why not start a business? Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Because we knew that at that time it was a bit blue ocean for us, in the sense that there wasn't any. There were people who did cakes, but they were very high street cakes, and the cakes were very sort of sponge cake with flavored fillings. Something which we never grew up on. You and I, our cakes were always sort of like the dense butter cakes with chocolate or fillings and all that sort of thing. So we wanted homemade cakes, but beyond that, Alan has this talent for craft and art. So basically made all the pretty wedding cakes, and I think we were one of the first to really commercialize wedding cakes and novelty cakes, as we call them, as a business in KL.
Novelty cakes. Okay.
Yeah.
And you started this. What customized cakes, and what year was this when you started it? Because I remember
2001.
Right, so that's 19 years ago. I remember when Just Heavenly started delivering cakes. You were the rage. I mean,
we did very well.
Yes.
It's been challenging. It's in recent years, but we did very, very well. And I would like to think that we opened the doors for a lot of the cake bakers that are out there today.
Yeah, you just trailblazed and opened the new frontier. And after that, the novelty cakes, cakes that were made with such imagination. I mean, like in terms of the ingredients that went into it, in terms of the shapes and stuff. Yeah. It was quite a rage. I mean,
we used to go to Australia to try and learn, little bits and pieces. That was what Alan used to do. So we'd approach bakers in Australia and see, because they have some really brilliant people crafting cakes in Australia. And so we used to travel there and go and try and talk to them and see if Alan can see what they're doing in the workshop and work with them for a little while. So he did that with one or two of them for a week or two, and brought that back. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So very proud of what we've done.
Yes. And also I saw pictures of Alan posing next to his MCO garden, his MCO vegetable garden.
He's
wow.
It's a bloody jungle. He's become quite an urban farmer.
It's amazing. It's a terrace. It's a terrace house, right? It's a terrace house, right?
It's a terrace house,
and it's just chock-a-block with edible plants. It's amazing. So anybody who's watching now who want to see what Rajin can result in during a lockdown, just go and check out through Nigel's partners, Alan's vegetable, incredible. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go to the
farm.
It's literally a vegetable farm in the Terrace house. Okay, I'm going to go through the comments that are coming in, because you've brought in a flood of viewers. I've never had so much of activity. Okay. So some of the comments going up. Jeremiah's are related to Skelchies and Scullies.
Yes. Sorry, we are related to the Jeremiah somehow.
Okay, that I don't have the names here, but it's probably on the Facebook page itself. I'm looking at the comments here on StreamYard, my web app that does the streaming. Another one says, "Hello, Vernon and Nigel from Texas." So somebody's coming in to us from Texas. Okay.
Cousin. Is that Colin?
Maybe. If you have a friend in Texas, that's probably him.
No, there is a Skelchy in Texas somewhere.
Okay. Okay. And then somebody says, on my old IC card, we had Eurasians. If memory serves me well, it was changed to Serani when Malaysia went full-blown Malay. Okay, so that's an interesting comment, because probably the Seranis then became Eurasians when the British came in. So, it was a flip-flopping kind of thing happening, I guess. I don't know. But that's my response. I don't know how you would respond to that.
I don't know. I can't remember that. I'd like to think I'm not that old. But
you'd like to think you're not what?
Not that old. But sorry.
Well, on the On the first
blue IC, okay, literally that blue IC with the wavy lines going through it.
Yeah.
I can't remember what mine was. I think it was just Eurasian.
Yeah. Well, whatever the case may be, I mean, like in the first program of Serani Sembang, right, the very first launch program, I was asked by Carrie Ann Augustine, who was co-hosting the show with me. She asked me, she said, how did you come up with the name Serani Sembang? And I said, actually, because when I was growing up as a child, I heard that we were referred to as Serani. And then when I was old enough to start having documents, like the IC and blah, 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 then I heard the label of Eurasian being used on me. So it was because of officialdom that Eurasian came into my knowledge, And then as I started to go to school and I'd say I'm Eurasian, then they'd ask me, is mother European or father European? And I have to go, no, mother and father are Eurasian. And then they'd go, grandmother European or grandfather European? So that was, So that's why I felt maybe Serani might have said it better than Eurasian. Anyway, further down.
Call ourselves Serani.
Sorry?
We still call ourselves Serani. That's my cousin's chat group. Serani Cousins Borak.
Okay, Serani Cousins Borak. Very nice. Okay, we've got Judy Capel is here. Hi, Judy Capel. Judy Capel is a descendant of Martina Roselles and Francis Light. So the Capels in Penang. Yep. Yeah. So therein, is perhaps some of Serani history with us, watching the show. We've got Anne Jeremiah. We've got, there's certain people having conversations on our thread. Yes, my auntie Enid Capel married Henry. Yeah. We have. You can't? Well, are you sure you can't?
Oh, in comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
In comments.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Nigel, did you know a Ruth Skelchy also in the power field in KL? Ruth Skelchy.
Yes. Ruth in the power fielder.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew Auntie Ruth. To me, was a teacher. Teacher from Central Convent, I think. Yes. So I did know a Ruth Skelchy, but if there was another Ruth Skelchy who was, there might have been another Ruth Skelchy. I don't know. But Auntie Ruth was a teacher in Central Convent.
Yeah. Okay. So it could be this. It could be this.
Yeah. Totally. That's my cousin, John and Jeremy's mother.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Somebody says the names are not appearing on this, so I don't really know who is saying it, because if you do not actually, what's the word for it, register StreamYard on your Facebook, then your names don't appear here.
That's all it says is Facebook user.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody says here, let's see what happens when I do this. My late brother did so much work on the family tree, going back to as far as Francis Light and Martina Roselles. But sadly, he passed on, and I haven't really found time to go through his hard work. Whoever you are, I'm sure your name is on the Facebook page. I will get in touch with you, and perhaps maybe we can see how to maybe work on this and, make it happen. Okay?
Yeah. But yeah, to me, Eurasians and Serani, the words Eurasians and Serani, I don't know. It's always been interchangeable for me. I've never really thought about it very much. I mean, I realize that the Penang Seranis sometimes do like to think of themselves as Penang Eurasians rather than Seranis, but Malaccan ones generally talk about themselves as Seranis.
Right.
My grandfather used to speak Kristang, so.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. So you have that connection to the Portuguese settlement through the language that he spoke. Yeah. I'm kind of like I just had a laugh just now because somebody posted here. It's me, Vernon, your Laksa lady, and my Laksa lady is Irene Roselles, who sells me Johor Laksa from time to time. Yeah. So, but there's a lot of. I can tell you that. Nigel, I've never had so much of activity on this chat stream. Like everybody's waking up. Very good. Thank you for all your feedback. Okay, just going back to the PowerPoint. Okay, I want people to realize that we spoke about it earlier, but if you're joining us now, viewers should know that Nigel actually has a channel on YouTube, and it's Nigel's Joys. Yeah. So go subscribe, give him comments and feedback, because this is our Serani boy Nigel Skelechi, who needs all our love and support as he shares his cooking with all of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The comments. Jeremy Skelechi, are you related? Yes, he's my cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, just answering the question. But thank you so much, Vernon.
You're welcome. Wait, we haven't finished yet.
I know. Just thank you for plugging the channel.
For plugging the channel. Yes. So, I just want to go back to this whole idea that you are kind of like a multitasker of sorts. Okay. If I can go back to the very, very first slide, okay. Okay, so you're an entrepreneur in that you started a business. It was justheavenly.com. At first it was just, now it's just Heavenly.
Choice. I'm looking at it as a business as well. With lots of possibilities of arms around it. There's a website that's in the planning. There's all the social media channels need to be up and running at some point. Blogging.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. And what drives you? I'd like to know what drives you. What makes you decide to get up and do these things? So you met Alan and you realized he had so much of talent that he could share with the world.
Well, so that was part of it. I've actually started the rest of it now. I mean, everyone's interests and passions change over time.
Yeah.
And one thing I've learned in the last 20 years is basically how to find my joy. And that's why I started Nigel's Joys. And so Nigel's Joys is a way of living, I guess. Fulfilling living. But I've only started with the cooking ideas and the videos because they're an easy in. I mean, I start talking about pop psychology, Oprah type things. I think it's a bit early for that. People won't be able to get me without knowing a little bit about my background. So I guess that will unfold eventually. But for now, I'm quite happy doing the cooking, the cooking videos. And food always brings us joy. Food is community. Food is travel on a plate.
Isn't it? Yeah. Food is multiculturalism in the best way possible.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at the Portuguese Eurasian community, Eurasian community in particular, our dishes are actually quite Malay Indian,
Okay.
And the other day, I think there was a discussion about Feng, wasn't there?
Yes, there was. For those who are watching, I mean, like if you go to the Serani Sembang Facebook page, there was a moment where certain people got upset, or certain people got what's the word for it? What's the word that new internet word?
Triggered.
Triggered. Yeah. by a Singaporean video maker saying that Feng was unique in Singapore, and but so
I didn't even watch the video. Okay, all I saw was all the drama that unfolded. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Well, that happens when people feel strongly about something. I have something here. Nigel, clarification. Ruth was a teacher. Her husband was an Lembaga Electric and a golf enthusiast.
Yep, that's Jeremy brother.
Okay, so he's somebody's clarifying there. Yeah. Okay.
That's
Okay. So generally, Just Heavenly is a business that is still running, and we can still order wonderful cakes and
order wonderful cakes from the website, on the page. Yep.
Right. Okay. And also I want to talk about this thing here, a performer. Okay, a performer. Share with us what you did.
I think I've left that behind, though. I mean,
really?
It's many years of good experience. But Alan and I had an a cappella group called the Wicked Pitchers.
Yes, I remember that. Yes, pitchers, the Wicked Pitchers. Yeah.
And I think we were quite successful in our day, in our time.
Yeah, you were.
We were nominated for quite a few Beau Cameronian Arts Awards.
Well done.
And thank you. And I think we really pursued that passion to the limit of our priorities, I guess. At some point, we had to come back to real life and realize that we needed to make a living. And everyone in the group, that was not their day job. And this sort of thing, if you want to commit to it, there needs to be an infrastructure around the whole industry, which actually I don't think Malaysia has yet, for people like us to be able to get out there and make a living off the arts. But having said that, we're still in touch with a lot of these people, a lot of our friends from Wicked Pitchers. They're sort of like a family to us. So,
And so that could be a reunion concert, or something you can whip up together to a jam session.
It's entirely possible. It is entirely possible. Yeah.
And do a virtual concert. Do a virtual concert. Yep. Wonderful. Look forward to seeing you guys on stage again, because I remember coming to see you guys. I think you used to do performances at shopping centers during Christmas or something.
Yeah, we did.
Is that correct? Yeah. Wonderful. Okay, and tell us about what you think our community can be doing, to empower each other, and to, one of the reasons why I kind of like pivoted Serani Sembang from a website into this webcast was because I was bored during the lockdown, and I thought we were coming up to our 20th anniversary, and I decided let's do something different, and so I did this, and it is also to raise.
I think it's brilliant idea, and I think the personal sort of this brings this idea little further along to the viewer, rather than typing cold text. I think to a certain extent, coming back to that Feng video, it's very easy to see text in, I guess, the context of with us or against us. And in this period where tribalism is obviously on the rise, where, we seem to be retreating ever more into our own tribes, I think this format is a lot better. It reaches out a lot better. You can see the non-verbal cues, because that's % of communication, right? Text is like 10 or 20% of communication. So, when you read text, it's so easy to get triggered. And it's so easy because there's a buffer here to go and blast back what you want to blast back without actually giving any thought to it.
Yeah, and it was very interesting when we were having that conversation when I asked you to be part of the show. You said use emojis, because I guess perhaps you might have thought that I was coming across as really, what's the word for it? Really combative. Somebody has told me that I do come across as combative.
Combative? No, it's not that you do. It's just You see, the thing is, one thing I've learned is that when you read the cold text, you always read it out of your own experience and your own
lived experience.
How you view things. I mean, at the end of the day, that's communication, right? How we receive messages is as much as is important as how someone is intending it. So, to a large extent, I'm certain, Vernon, you did not mean it in any way to be combative or judgmental. It's just that she, in her own experience, took it that way. And when you take it that way, of course, I'll come back like that. What to do?
Nigel,
I think we just all need to. Okay, to empower and all that, very simple. Just come together lah. Don't need to go and like, whether or not we're Penang Eurasians or Portuguese Eurasians or whatever, we all have cultural things that we can share, and really diversity is our very strength. As a community, we are fractured enough as it is. We don't have a single voice speaking out for us. And so it's up to us individually really to come together. I think that's how I would come do it. At the end of the day, whatever our community comes out to be is up to us. It's not up to the powers that be. There's really no one who can like actually power it. But support each other. Don't be so quick. I guess what I'm saying is my version of Feng may not be to your liking or may not be what you're used to, but it's okay, you know. Your version is just your family version. My version is my family version. My Pang Susis might not.
Yeah, and yet, even if we are different, we can still celebrate each other. Right?
Absolutely, I absolutely.
Even though I think my devil curry is better than your devil curry. I can still celebrate
go after eating devil curry and think, yeah, but yours are better, you know.
Then we have to check their temperature. Check their temperature.
We all like certain things, lah. We all like certain things. It's okay. That's not a problem. It's not better. It just is. It's just
different.
It's just different.
Yeah.
Right?
And we should celebrate the difference.
Absolutely.
Celebrate the difference.
Absolutely.
It's so important. Even beyond our community, we should celebrate, the other races and, the stuff that's good about them.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
be constructive and positive.
Yeah. Otherwise, how to, we
how
can
to carry on in this diverse world.
Yeah. Otherwise, we can always look. It's so easy to find the differences. It's a lot harder to be grateful for what we have and for those kindnesses, those little kindnesses that are shown to us. And that's what I try and remember, and that's what I actually try and bring to Nigel's Joys.
Fantastic. And you know what? I think Nigel's Joy is going to be one of the biggest Serani things to happen, in recent times. So you keep us. I'll be keeping an eye on you and making sure that we see what you're up to and make sure you behave and don't disgrace the community.
No pressure.
No pressure. No pressure. No. You just do whatever you want, boy. You just do it. You just go for it. And we'll all be behind you.
You can call me boy lah, okay lah.
Yeah. Now that you know, right? Okay, Nigel. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for joining us, for sharing your family stories with us, for sharing your journey through, through your Just Heavenly and, this new thing, Nigel's Joys. And everybody go to the YouTube channel now. It's Nigel's Joys. And I'll see you when I see you next. Yeah.
Yes,
thank you so much. Thank you very much. And and I hope to catch up. And I hope to catch up with you very soon.
Please.
Cook me a meal.
Can.
Okay.
No pressure.
Thanks so much. No pressure. So much of comments and feedback, the best we've ever had. So, boy, you've got your crowd out there. Okay, so keep it coming, and we'll be there. Okay, take care. All best.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.